Welcome to the Millionaire Mindcast, where we broadcast weekly interviews with millionaire minds from across the globe to empower you on your journey of unlocking a rich and fulfilling life. It's time to unleash your millionaire within. Now, here's your host, Matty A.
Welcome, guys. We got another great episode of Wealth Building Wednesday. Okay, we're getting it. You're on it, brother.
I'm on it today.
It's going to be a good show today. Where this is the episode of the Millionaire Mindcast where we talk all things money. We answer all the questions that you guys have in direct correlation to wealth building, financial freedom, keeping as much money in your pocket and growing it as fast as you possibly can. Doing that as strategically as you can, and obviously utilizing that money that you're keeping to go out and unlock the life that you envision for your own rich life. Obviously, everybody's got a different definition of that, and it's always fun to explore what that looks like for each individual person, and that's what we dig into on this podcast. So if you're new to the show, be sure to head over to go.millionairemindcast.com. You can submit a question. Also, by submitting a question, you automatically get entered into our monthly drawing of over $1,100 in gifts, gift cards, consultations, coaching calls, books, planners, courses, all kinds of cool stuff. So be sure to check that out. And if you are someone who really is looking to take their wealth to the next level, this is not for the listener who is just getting started. This is for somebody who is established, has a great business, is really looking to scale their wealth to that 7-8 figures and beyond. If you want more information on some of our upcoming wealth camps, these are some amazing life-changing experiences that are also legitimate workshops to help give you a clear path and connect all the dots on your own wealth plan while having a pretty epic time doing that with some other amazing people, badass people, elite business professionals from all around the world. So if you want more information on our upcoming wealth camps, you can text 844-447-1555. That is the word wealth camp. So all you got to do is text wealth camp, one word, to 844-447-1555, and you will get some more information there. My man.
What's up?
How you doing over there?
Doing good. Just what a wild week in the market with some great news, some more catalysts for that keep the bull run going. I think I said multiple times over the past few shows that I thought real estate, especially residential housing, was going to explode in 2020, and housing starts came out, and what do you know?
Ryan walks into the office this morning. He's like, I told you. Yeah, I told you I've been saying this.
I should get a crystal ball, I swear. I know I don't have one of those. But yeah, just housing starts for residential, which for our listeners who don't know, that is the permits submitted by home builders. Those are going to be home builders that are houses that are, me or you would purchase, residential, not commercial. And there was a lot of permits submitted. And I think, I don't have any thumb on anybody's nose to have, this is the reason. But the last year's market run-up was really good for all these builders. They made a lot of money, so they have a lot of excess cash right now. And instead of having, not realizing any of those earnings and not deploying that cash, I believe that's what they're doing. They're saying, hey, we got the money, the demand in the market's there, interest rates are low. So what better kind of mixing pot than when it's easy to get cheap money and consumer sentiment is high, meaning people are still confident in the market. People are buying multiple areas. It's not just oversaturated in one area. Plus, we have another round of earnings season coming up. I think it's going to be really good for the residential housing market. So if you're a seller, it's a great time to sell your home, get into a brand new home. I was just joking with Matt. It would be you'd be buying a house at probably the most expensive it has ever been. But the flip side to that is you would be selling your home at probably the highest price it has ever been and getting cash lended to you at probably a lower rate than when you got your previous loan because interest rates are so darn low. So that's my little...
It's a great time if you're a move-up buyer right now, for sure.
Yeah.
In first-time buyer, really in general, just go back to the price of money. right?
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, that is affordability, so pay attention to that. But when you can borrow money at the rates that are out there right now today, it's hard to pass up on that opportunity if you're truly in a position to make that type of financial commitment to a mortgage.
Yeah, don't stretch yourself thin and go get a mortgage. We'll have another 2008 coming up. But, if you have the means, if you can, I always say in California, it's really simple. If you have a $2,000 a month rent, you probably can afford to own a home. Mm-hmm. So as long as your credit worthiness is there, as long as you guys have stable income, good job, not a ton of debt, because DTI is going to come into it, which is debt to income ratio. Getting a home and paying your own mortgage versus being in somebody else's house, paying their mortgage and giving them positive cash flow, which is what we are trying to do for other individuals, but don't become that individual yourself. That is a much better option, especially because you're going to pick up the tax benefits from it. You're going to be gaining equity rather than hitting the reset button every 30 days and looking up and having a roof over your head. There's not much else you can say besides that when you're renting a home.
Yeah.
Matt hit the nail on the head. Move up buyers, big deal. Luxury real estate, if you look at least in our area, the trend on where houses are being sold is in the $500,000 plus range. That is where more transactions are happening rather than in the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 price range. And I think that speaks to the fact, like what you're saying, a great time to be a move-up home buyer because you can sell your home at a high price and get cash for really cheap and probably redirect some of those dollars into your down payment, so on and so forth. So
yeah, a lot of exciting stuff going on in the market right now. I mean, it's a good time to be living. It's a good time to be investing, right?
Yeah.
I think the number one thing, big takeaway for most people is just don't sit on the sidelines. You're not gonna go 10 for 10. You're not gonna bat 1,000. All I know is the people that are putting runs up on the scoreboard are the people who are stepping into the batter's box. The spectators are not the ones who are making the big bucks. It's the people in the game.
Yep.
It is the people who are taking hacks at the plate. Yes, they are striking out. I'm striking out. Ryan's striking out, but you better believe we keep stepping back in there.
Yeah.
Foul tipping. Oh, base hit. Foul tip. Oh, double. Foul tip. Oh, wait. Nope. Oh, home run.
And what a good analogy, because baseball is one of the, and I played some college, little light level of collegiate sport. But baseball is a really good analogy because it's the one thing that you can go up, have 10 goes at something, only succeed 3 times, and still make millions and millions of dollars. Batting 300 is a big deal in baseball. So use that as an analogy for your real estate or really anything in your business world. Again, the horse that I beat and kick and just keep foot on the throat is the road to success is, again, paved with the bricks of failure. You have to fail a lot in order to understand what it is to be successful. Because if you just consistently succeeded, there would be no sweet feeling on the other side of the line when you do have that successful moment. And, don't revel too long in it, because then that success is over and it's on to the next one.
Yep.
You're on fire today, man. You're just dropping all these little golden nuggets.
It takes a lot of faith and courage to step out of
scared money don't make money, right?
Yeah. It takes a lot of faith and courage. And yet, if you had it all figured out and you knew you were going to win every time, it would take the fun out of, 1, the experience and the journey. 2, it wouldn't equip you and weaponize you in the ways that failures do, right?
Yeah, that's why we're here today. As an adult, you're a functioning adult because you failed many, many, many times as a child, and thank God your mother or father were there to scold you and tell you, no, you don't do that. You do this. That was a failure. You did not do what you were supposed to do. You were told how to do it. That was beaten to your little beautiful smile and little brain from a young age, and that's why you are who you are today.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. I know I'm pretty excited with the way the year's starting off right now. The end of last year really kicked my ass in a lot of ways, and I was excited and optimistic and fired up for 2020 to roll around. And I think one of the most popular podcasts of this year so far, if you guys haven't listened to it, is one of my Friday Food for Thoughts on doing whatever it takes. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to succeed? That goal that you have in your mind, that vision you have for your life, that financial, milestone that you're pushing towards, or, some ceiling that is hanging over you that you're just banging your head up against to break through. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to ensure that you get the result that you desire? And most people, the answer is yes. Yeah. And yet the word or the actions that follow that up just don't correlate. They don't connect. And therefore, right, a lot of people are extremely frustrated and, complacent, and they wonder why. And it's oftentimes, one of my mentors shared this with me, is just because you're taking action, just because you're putting in 90 hours or 100 hours a week on something, doesn't mean you're doing what is required to get the result. Because what's required for me to get the result of going out and finding a property right now, and what's required for you to go and do that exact same thing, two different requirements.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it all comes back to being a hunter. I mean, if you're in our industry, your industry, my industry, and you don't wake up every single day and feel unemployed,
yes,
you're in the wrong set of shoes, my friend.
Yep.
Somebody like me is going to be walking around with a bow and arrow, quiver full, a blood dripping knife. I'm ready to go. If I see opportunity for me to grow my business, if I see opportunity for me to grow one of my referral partners' business, I'm jumping at it like it's the last opportunity. Like, I need that door to open up so I can get to the next door.
Yep.
If you don't have that mentality, I do.
Yeah.
Matt does.
Yep.
Somebody around you does.
I would say, somebody around you does have that whatever it takes mentality. Here's the thing. Stay aligned with your core values. Stay aligned with your morals. Sleep well at night. But at the end of the day, nobody better outwork you. Nobody should want your dream more than you do. And you can't expect anybody to show up in your world and deliver it to you. And so when I was, pounding the pavement to start the year off this year of this whatever it takes mentality, it's all over my office, it's all over my goal sheet, it's all over my mirror at home. And this is something that I am embodying every single day. And the amount of momentum that I have right now with the hotel, with some really big commercial projects, I'm working on if I get this property in San Francisco, that is going to be probably...
You're still working on the one in your neighbor's spot in Napa, yeah?
Still working on the vineyard development in Napa and working through that. We're working through...
Huge things, guys. If you guys could see, I get the opportunity to get a little bit more to know, obviously I know Matt very well, but oh my gosh, these two deals are one of these deals is something that somebody would fall off a 10-story building just to have the opportunity to talk about it.
They could be legacy plays for sure.
Oh.
Locking up a 17 property package in San Antonio. So just so you guys know, one of the things that I'm doing this year is I am asking for what I want. I'm telling everybody around me what I want, whether that's on my Instagram, whether that's on the podcast, whether that's on Facebook, whether that's me talking to the grocery clerk at the grocery store. I am asking the universe, God, whatever you believe in, the people around me, for exactly what I want. And I'm doing it obsessively every day. And I got people bringing me hotels, and I got people bringing me storage facilities, and I got people bringing me vineyards, and I got people bringing me, packages of portfolios for real estate properties. And I can tell you this much. The one little thing that shifted was, one, of course, I'm showing up every single day, but two, I'm asking for it. I am calling it. I am willing it into existence. And more importantly, I am pounding the dirt on it every single day. There's nothing too big or too small in my world this year. There's nothing above my pay grade or below my pay grade this year that is going to prevent me from getting the results I desire. Checking the ego at the door, checking the fears at the door, surrounding myself with the people who are aligned with my goals, with my vision, with my dreams, and most importantly, who can help me connect those dots. And it is unbelievable to see what is happening in my life right now. Not a lot has changed. A little bit of my routine. There are certain things that maybe I feel resistance to, and I am more aware of when that happens. If you're feeling resistant to something right now, and I'm feeling resistant to something right now in my world, learn to make that resistance your trigger to show up, to rise to the occasion, to push into it instead of giving yourself some bullshit excuse of why you can't or shouldn't or won't do what that thing is that's triggering you. So that was a perfect case in that last podcast where I had to go and freaking be a cleaner. I went to a laundromat for 6 hours at the lodge and literally folded laundry for 6 hours. I went to the hotel and then literally put on rubber gloves and was doing turnovers. I was fucking pissed, to be completely honest. I was like, I'm worth way more than this. My time is worth way more than this. And then I said, you know what? Like, I got to check my ego at the door here, because that's a slippery slope to feel like I'm too good or better than doing something that is going to check a box of success and a result that I want. So whether that's somebody else doing it or me doing it, doesn't matter. I'm going to do whatever it takes this year. And that's what I want to invite so many of you to do this year, is whatever resistance you're feeling, push into that. Use that as your trigger to rise to the occasion and show up in a way that your brain is trying to trick you out of showing up. Because that is your time. That is your call to action, to rise and to see whether or not you are worthy of getting that result. No one else should get it for you. It's you. So shifting gears towards investing in your money and your wealth. No one's going to care about your money, your wealth, what financial freedom you unlock or achieve in your life more than you do. The fact that you're listening to this podcast right now tells me it's something that is very, very important to you. Are you willing to do what it takes to skill up in the areas you're not that skilled in? Are you willing to do what it takes to get around the people who have the wealth, the businesses, the outcomes that you desire to have? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to break through with your mindset, or to get a result with your real estate investing, or to get a result in your retirement portfolio? Whatever it may be, it's up to you, nobody else. So with that being said, today Ryan and I wanted to take a couple. Sorry, I got on a soapbox there for a second. My B, guys.
The only thing I'll add to that is, something that Matt's saying, and I this may be a little longer episode, but that's fine. Your body is the only vessel that can tell you to stand on the side of the bank and watch your kid die and yell at them to learn how to swim better. You have to jump in the water and save your child. You cannot watch your baby drown and just yell at it and expect it to figure it out. Like Matt was saying, when he's putting those gloves on, he's doing the down and dirty. Nobody else is going to do that. And I'm sorry. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you or pity for you.
Nope.
I'm sorry that you got this awesome opportunity and you have to clean the hotel. Yeah, that sucks. But I'm going to tell you this, in a few months when occupancy is at 60, 70, 80%, he's going to look back at that and laugh. So it's just, your body is the only thing that can trick you into literally watching your child drown and telling you that the absolute reason and the way to fix it is by yelling at them to swim better. And that's not the way to do it. Whenever you get to that point, I would encourage you, welcome to the growth zone. Again, it's uncomfortable. Dive head first in, even though you can't see the bottom. And if you hit it, you're going to crink your neck and get back up again and dive in again.
Yep.
So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, the tests are all about what creates the testimony. The stories that we all talk about one day are often the most exciting or fun or prominent thing that stands out in a lot of those stories is not you winning at the end. It's all the shit that you went through to get that outcome. And damn, is it tough. But discipline and pushing forward in the things you need to do is all about pain first and play later. Pain is all part of this path to getting to where you want to go, to getting to where I want to go, to getting to where Ryan wants to go. And we have to be willing to put in that work. So let's put in some work on some Q&A today.
Let's do it.
We have a lot of you guys posting and sending in all kinds of cool questions. So we're going to take some time to answer a few of those today, being that we haven't had a chance to cover as many of them on past episodes. This one today, I'm going to cover this one, and I know you're going to chime in a little bit, is coming in from Alexis Hernandez. How would you feel about out-of-state real estate investing? Is it a good investment? If so, what do you do in order to be successful out of state? Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of friends and mentors who invest out of state. I have never invested out of state. And so I went ahead and did a little homework for you, Alexis, being that one, I'm in a lot of masterminds and groups where I get to hear a lot of the wins, and I also get to hear a lot of the war stories from people who are investing in out-of-state real estate. Again, I'm not condoning that you should or shouldn't do it. I'm just going to lay out kind of both sides of the coin. I really stand on the edge, being that I don't invest in out-of-state real estate investing. However, I see pros and cons to both sides of it. So we'll start with the pros. Number one, the affordability and cash flow. If you're in a state like mine in California, we are in a high equity appreciation state and a very low cash flow state. So finding cash flowing real estate in California, it's like a needle in a haystack. Mind you, all of my real estate that I own is in California, and that's something that I became really good at and weaponized myself on finding those needles in a haystack, right? I have an army of agents who bring me deals all the time for my flipping and my rentals. I've got direct mail going out, pay-per-click. I've got all kinds of nets out there that are scooping up opportunities, and every once in a while I find a cash flowing opportunity that I hold. Now, there are a lot of individuals who don't necessarily have a full-time focus on finding those needles in a haystack who live in a state, let's say like California or New York, some of the states that aren't as cash flow friendly. So finding markets out of state that are much more affordable, low barrier of entry to get in, and have higher cash flow are a lot easier, which is why a lot of people now have started to invest in markets like Indiana and Memphis and Ohio and Jacksonville, Florida. Yep. So those are things that you definitely want to consider, right? Of going, hey, I know I can get that cash flow, right? You're going to get a higher ROI on the money that you're investing or putting into some of those opportunities. I'm going to put an asterisk next to that, though, and I'm going to circle back to why I put an asterisk next to higher ROI opportunities. Also, right, a lot of people say, hey, you go out of state and you're going to have less risk due to diversification. That just, I think depends on what your portfolio already looks like, and we'll dig into that here in a second. Also, a lot of people don't want to have to self-manage. Yeah. And so finding good turnkey property management companies that can find the asset for you, that can renovate the properties for you, that can rent up the properties with a good tenant, and then you just collect a check, makes it pretty turnkey. Again, it sounds great.
Yeah, sounds better than it is.
But it isn't always the case. So here's 5 questions that I would recommend you ask yourself before choosing to either self-manage out of state or to hire another company is, are you available and willing to manage your property on a full-time basis? Because this is something that people think mailbox money, real estate, passive income. It's really not that passive in the beginning until you really, truly work out all the kinks. And number one, you are dialed in with making sure that you have a team that you trust. Out of state landlord laws, also something that you're going to want to make sure you have your head wrapped around, because there could be restrictions and or loopholes that you can leverage to your advantage. Are you able to manage contractors or maintenance? That is a big thing that a lot of people either win big on or they get taken advantage of on. I got one of my consulting and coaching clients bought a property in Alabama, and it was from a turnkey rental company, and it's been an absolute nightmare for the guy. Felt horrible for him, and yet we discussed all of these things. A lot of those red flags were coming up. He decided to push forward with the property and the project, and he's right now, about 2 years later, looking to exit out of it, and he's going to lose about $8,000 on the property when all is said and done. Also, obviously, being able to select and manage tenants. Are you going to do that? Do you want to push that off onto somebody else? And this is the last question I would ask you is, are you truly the most qualified person to manage your property or not? Or should somebody else be doing this? These are all things you got to think about when you're not going to be a 30-minute drive from the property, that you can go touch it. You can go check on the tenants. You can see, what kind of trash is in the front yard or how nice they're keeping the property up. You can do 24-hour pop-in inspections. these are a lot of things that people just do the set it and forget it, and it really comes back to biting them in the butt. So these lead to the 3 challenges, or a couple different challenges with out-of-state investing. Is if you don't know the market, then that can pose a significant problem to you, right? A lot of people romanticize and fall in love with the cash flow in a pro forma when they don't really understand all of the inner workings of expenses and things that can come up. And when you're talking about a $75,000 property that, kicks off $300 or $400 or $500 a month, right? I mean, let's just say it's $500 a month, and you want to, say, hey, I got a net cash flow of $6,000 per year. Not too bad, right? However, what if that tenant moves out in 12 months or 24 months, and all of a sudden a turnover to get that property ready again after they just beat it to shit is going to cost you $6,000? Well, that's a full year's worth of income. And if a tenant is moving out every 2 to 3 years, and your pro forma over a 5, or 10-year period, you're losing a year's worth of net income every other year, every 3 years. That changes your 2 or your 3 or your 5% rule that you're all excited about getting into real estate investing to capture. And those are some of the things. So you don't know the local market. If you don't know the local laws, if it's of distance and you're unable to obviously have a close, eye on your property and to manage the asset closely, those are some of the things that have really bit some of the people that I know in the butt. Now, I also know a lot of people that have used BRRRR strategies like champions, and they find a property for 75, they put 25 into it, it's now worth 150, they get it rented up, they refinance out all of their initial investment, they're into the property essentially for no money, they're bringing in a couple $100 a month in cash flow, and they rinse and repeat it, right? So some really cool things that you can do with out-of-state rental investing that you just can't do in other markets as well. I mean, we can even go deeper into joint venture opportunities, lease option to purchases, seller financing. A lot of those markets are primed for those kind of negotiations with sellers and can allow you to get into properties and generate cash flow for little to no money. So some things to think about. And these are things that we talk a lot about. So like in regards to analyzing a pro forma inside the Rich Through Real Estate group in our academy, I just went through a pro forma analysis on one of my rental properties. And these are things that I teach all the time when I talk about skilling up. And for the sake of the show, we don't have time to dig into all this kind of stuff. But from a high level overview, we will cover it on the show. But when you want to really get tactical and start surrounding yourself with people inside our community who are taking action and doing this in markets all around the country, you can join our Facebook group and our Rich Through Real Estate Academy with courses and calls and recordings and resources and all kinds of cool stuff for just $1. And if you just text the word real estate, one word, to 844-447-1555, you'll get a link that'll show you that. And these are a lot of the questions that we dig into in more detail. So great question from Alexis. How do I feel about real estate, out-of-state real estate investing? My final comment on this is I personally want to be in a state where I can definitely guaranteed get higher equity appreciation over the long term. And if I can generate cash flow from it as well, that is icing on the cake. So that's why I continue to invest in California, because I believe in my ability and my team's ability, and I'm betting on us to go and find those needles in a haystack. And I would much rather, again, based on what my goals are, I would much rather own 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 assets that have high equity upside and I'm still generating cash flow from and manage those than trying to go and buy 100 single family properties in a market that I can't touch, that I can't have management and oversight on as closely, and some of those other concerns. And I all of a sudden I have to manage 100 of those things to get to the same spot. So for me, you get the cash flow in those markets, you don't get the equity upside, and those are things that you should definitely be thinking about. But as long as you do it right, you analyze right, you buy right, you build a great team around you, you are going to be set up to have some success as a real estate investor.
Yeah, the one thing that I'll just say on that is the stock market, the real estate market is full of a lot of people that know the price of everything and unfortunately know the value of nothing, which is probably why you're listening to us today. So be very careful on jumping headfirst into anything and always relying and hanging your hat on some professional, Matt, the real estate professional, Ryan, the investment advisor, and taking, due course to make sure we know what we're talking about, and then listening and implying, even if it doesn't sound like it meets your goal set. I really want this, so I want it to be this way. It doesn't always pan out that way. So I'll say it again. Stock market, real estate market is full of people who know the price of everything and the value of nothing. So remember that if I can leave you with a tidbit from today.
Okay, so I think I already know the answer to this question, but I want to make sure that we answer it for Joe. Joe said, Ryan, you have $100,000 that's gifted to you right now. What do you do with it?
Well, if I had I'll answer that I got $100,000 net, no taxes.
No tax. You start with a nut of $100K. What do you do with it, Mr. Breedwell?
Well, I'm going to act and I'm going to answer like it's from myself today personally. So I'd probably go look at to pick up a piece of real estate because I have enough cash on hand to pick up a piece of real estate. Probably around half of that is what I need.
Yep.
The other $50,000 I would put some aside into my fund for my taxes because I have to pay a tax, a nice, big, beautiful check once a year. So I'd put some money away for that. I would put a couple $1,000s away for my health. I have a health and wealth, so I invest in my health as well as far as taking some time off, spending it with my wife, going and being around my friends, so I keep my mental mind sharp. But the majority of that money, probably 75% of it would get invested. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm going to go and have a wonderful, vacation, long vacation. I'm taking $75,000. I'm picking up a cash flow or a cash working for me asset. Real estate is really attractive right now to me, and probably putting the rest into some sort of money. I probably would write a check into my non-qualified accounts, be it an insurance policy or my brokerage account, maybe into my individual 401k. I would definitely call my CPA and just make sure there's hey, windfall of $100,000 really quick. What's the implications on that to my current situation?
That's a great point, though, right? A lot of people just go where they think they're going to make the most money.
Do not follow your heart. That's the first thing that you don't want to do.
Do not follow your heart.
Ooh, no, you're going to have your eyes. You see that emoji with that smiley face with the stars popping out of his head? That's what everybody, I think, even myself, I would feel that way for that. Ooh, $100,000 I didn't expect. Call me. If you don't have an advisor, if you have an advisor, call them, then call me and get a second opinion.
There you go.
You just need to, have a conversation. I don't know. For you specifically, it's hard to answer. Joe, for you specifically, it's hard to answer because I don't know you. If I knew you and I knew your situation, as you can tell, I've reached out to a bunch of people that have asked specific questions. There's a lot of things to do. Maybe you're somebody that's like the woman before who had a question. Maybe you have a ton of student loan debt, and maybe you're in an area where it doesn't work out to have, you don't get the write-off because your income is too high. Maybe we should pay some of that student loan down because those dollars are going nowhere.
Well, that's perfect because that's exactly what Carrie's question is that I was going to ask next. Carrie Mims had asked, I've secured private money to begin flipping homes and want to get my financial house in order, so to speak. Big props, Carrie. Always good to have some money to play with and get in the game. She said, I've got student loans that are approximately $136,000. That debt is kind of hanging over her. What's your advice on where to put proceeds from flipping, so profits from the flips that she does? Should she reinvest those? Should she get out of debt? Should she chisel away at both while reinvesting? What are your thoughts on that?
Gym mentality is something that I always preach to people.
What's it called?
Gym mentality, literally GYM. Like if you went to the gym yourself to go work out, how would you have to do that? And you would probably have to eat healthy and work out.
Yep.
You could not just sign up for a gym membership, eat a great diet, and get results. And you could also not eat like crap and go to the gym and get results. So Matt may have an opinion on this, and this is why we always have open conversations. I am a believer that if you're investing in flips and getting income or capital gains from that, you should take those dollars and keep them in the same lane that they're in. There's no need to put your blinker on and get them into a different lane because you're already making money with that money. Eventually, if you keep doing that, you'll make so much money that you'll not know where to put it or not have a place to put it, and then that's the time you go and start looking at student loans. But don't get that off course. If you're currently making cash, I would say to reinvest that back into your business or yourself so you can make more and more and more of that cash. Because I'm always completely naked on stage with you guys, I have student loan debt. I still pay it off every single month. I try to get some of the the interest write-off from my student loan debt. I'm pretty much phased out from that without some really creative planning by my CPA. But you need to keep in mind that there's some things that you can leverage when you have student loan debt. You can write off some of the interest. Again, talk to your tax professional. I do not give tax advice. I'm not a tax professional. But talk to your tax person and say, hey, I have this student loan debt hanging over my head. How does this amortize and how does this work for me over the next 5 years? And just people don't ask those questions. We're so focused on tomorrow. And with our dollars, we have to not only just be focused on tomorrow, but also next year and 2 years and 3 years from now. So it's a fair question to say, hey, what's tomorrow looking like? And then immediately say, great, what's 3 years from that day look like? And that's what you have to do. So that's why I always advise people, even though it costs a little bit more money, you get what you pay for. You need to work with a CPA, not a tax preparer, not a enrolled agent, somebody that knows the tax law and knows how you can leverage the tax law and can legally give you advice on how to do so. And I would ask that person, hey, I have this much student loan debt. What makes sense for my situation? And then having an advisor that works in tandem with your CPA to create a plan that best suits that dollar so it's maximizing the value on each dollar you put into each area, whether it be back into your real estate, whether it be towards your student loans, or whether it be setting aside for savings in retirement.
Good answer, bro. I would second a lot of what Ryan said. Carrie, my question to you would be is, again, it's going to come back to your goals. And it's going to come back to some of the resources that you have available to you. So, for example, if, like for me, when I'm flipping houses, I took all of my profits. I either reinvested them back into the business or I reinvested them into other income streams, i.e. rental portfolio, building my rental portfolio. Because I was using other people's money to fund 100% of my flips. Therefore, they were getting made whole and getting all their money back, right? And I wasn't necessarily being required or needing to come to the table with all kinds of cash all the time. So I knew that I had other people's money to leverage. Therefore, the profits I was making, I wanted to be able to reinvest in my business and scale my business. And I also wanted to reinvest in rental portfolio and build out some horizontal and passive income. So I think it just depends based on your scenario and what your actual goals are. Is that $136,000 in student debt keeping you up at night? Is it stressing you out? Because if it is, then I would say get aggressive on chipping away at that, being that might hold a lot of weight to free up stress and mental real estate for you to then go and focus on physical real estate, other investments, scaling your business, and do it in a much lighter way, right? For you to be more efficient, more effective, have a clear head, feel inspired, not feel like you got this ball and chain of student debt weighing you down and dragging along the way. That may be something that's really, really important to you. And if that is, then go after and attack that. If it's not, and you're like, hey, You're like Ryan, you're like, hey, I can get strategic with this. And I know all the questions that I've asked and all the answers that I've gotten that I'm going to chip away at X per year. And that works for me. And the opportunity cost of me not losing all of that money to paying this debt down, and I know that I can go and make a greater return than what I'm paying on my student loan debt by going out and investing in another rental property or going and invest in X or Y or Z, might allow you to outpace what that debt actually is costing you. So I think it just comes back to what are your goals, asking the right questions, seeking counsel and advice from people that really can understand your exact situation. Get 2 or 3, opinions on what they think is best based on what they're seeing. And then from there, that you've made the necessary steps, taken the necessary steps and the necessary effort to get all of the data, to throw all the puzzle pieces on the table and say, all right, based on what picture I'm trying to create here, how do I get all this to fit together in the way that best serves me and brings that vision to life, right? So I think in general, you're asking the right questions right now. You just got maybe 1 or 2 or 3 extra steps to take, and you're going to be in a place where you can feel really confident about what you decide on moving forward and how you create that plan moving forward.
Yeah. And again, just to lightly touch on it again, health and wealth are a planning tool. You freeing up some of that mental real estate, as Matt coined right there, may be for you specifically what works better. And that's why there's no cookie cutter answer from a real estate, from a financial planning standpoint. There's no cookie cutter answer for each individual because everybody has their own case and merit on what matters to them most and what matters to them least. And that's going to really ultimately drive your decisions. So keep in mind, like what Matt said, if that's something that literally is consuming your day-to-day, your mental fortitude is all dedicated towards that student loan debt, it may be a good idea to chip away at that a little more heavily.
Guys, that's all we got for today. We got some great stuff coming up for you. Again, a lot more information on our wealth camps. If you want more information on our wealth camps, these are legendary experiences, not only workshops to build on your true wealth plan and taking your wealth, your financial freedom, your assets, leveraging all the vehicles around you to the highest level and connecting those dots. That is what we're going to be doing workshop-wise at some of these legendary destinations all across the world. These are going to be small, intimate groups with high-level individuals. So if you want more information on that, you can text the word Wealth Camp to 844-447-1555 Wealth Camp. That's just one word, no spaces, to 844-447-1555. And make this the year that you get involved in a group, in a community, in a tribe. This is my final parting thought, being that I have looked back on so many relationships and experiences and life-changing moments, and they've all come from communities that I pushed into. Somebody joined our community a couple weeks ago, Rich Through Real Estate, for $1. So you can join that group and community for $1 to get all kinds of other downloads and resources and courses and cool stuff, videos, all kinds of great things. If you just text real estate to 844-447-1555. But one person said, hey, what should I be doing to get the most out of this group? And I've always been a big believer in you get out of something what you put into it. And you know who is a great example of this?
Who?
Lenny.
Oh, the Linster.
Lenny is...
Shout out again to the Linster McSinster. I love Austin Lenny. I love you.
And I didn't... one of the reasons why I think he's a perfect example of this, and I feel that I've done this in many other, mentorship groups or communities that I've wanted to be a part of, where I've looked at mentors, I've looked at role models, and eventually they became my peers, my friends, individuals who changed my life. And Austin Lenny was one of those people where he leveraged the group. He pushed into the group in a way that I've never seen anybody do. He connected with every single person. He was always looking for opportunities to connect this person with that person. If they had this challenge, this person could help him solve it, or he could, whatever it was, right? Now, all of a sudden, I'm doing business with Austin Lenny. He's managing and helping us with the hotel and a lot of the Airbnbs. I've connected him with all kinds of people. He's gotten crazy amounts of business from it. And again, not just on the monetary side, but who he's become in that process. Been sober for 12 months. Dude's about to run a full triathlon.
Like 3, actually. Literally, he posts one Ironman, then he's just like, I'm going to do a second one, and then, 3.
So it's one of those things where if you are feeling like you're missing that core group of people who get you, who understand, who have big goals like you, who have big dreams like you, who are really truly pushing towards those and are looking for other like-minded individuals, then you need to join our group, because that is what our group is all about. And if you text the word real estate to 844-447-1555, it will get you a link just to get more information on it. And this is what the Rich Life is all about. It's building rich relationships. It's building rich income and investments. It's building a rich community. It's having contribution in that community around you. And then it's your health. Building rich health, mental, physical, and spiritual, and all of those things coming together is going to create your definition of rich. And so if you are ready to really level up in your network, then I invite you to come join us, come check us out. We got all kinds of amazing things, all kinds of great community stuff going on, as well as some awesome upcoming events. So get in the game.
Yeah,
Going back to the batter's box, right?
I got a curveball.
Get in the game.
I got a curveball for, and Matt will have to keep me up on this because I haven't told him I was going to do this, so I'm throwing him a curveball. The next 10 people that sign up for that, I'm going to send you a $25 Visa gift card for you to go and have a cup of coffee and some lunch on yourself, and then a copy of a book. I won't say which book yet, but I'm going to pick a book out for you and we can talk about it. So the next 10 people that sign up for that, I'm going to send you a $25 gift card. It's $1 for $25 plus a book.
Damn.
I don't even know why you wouldn't do that.
Can I sign that for my own?
No, get out of here. Next 10 people that do that, I have a $25 Visa gift card for you. I will send it straight to your house. Let's take the next steps together. Let's make some proactive decisions. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. What about you guys?
Boom. Well, that wraps up this week's episode of Wealth Building Wednesday. If you have any additional questions that you want us to answer on the show, head over to go.millionairemindcast.com and submit that question. And by doing so, you also get entered into a monthly giveaway of over $1,100 in prizes. That's go.millionairemindcast.com. And if you got some great value from today's show, be sure to leave a review, subscribe so you never miss another episode of the Millionaire Mindcast. Most importantly, share this episode with someone that you know can get some insight and some value from what was talked about in today's episode. Now, if you're someone who is truly serious about building wealth, whether that's through real estate or the equities markets, we all know that you can accelerate those goals and those achievements by being in proximity to conversations, to resources, to other individuals. And you can do that by heading over to therichlifeacademy.com and join our community for just $7 a month and get involved in the conversation, get involved in the community and be surrounded by other people who are actively pursuing and achieving the goals that you too are going after in your own life or in your own business. Or if you are really serious about elevating your network and accelerating your growth, go to ineedaccountability.com to join our 90-day accountability group challenges that are running year-round. And this is where we place you into a group with 5 other hand-selected, hard-charging wealth builders who are setting goals, who are tracking those in our software with the success mentor that is given to those 5 individuals in that group and is actually holding you accountable to tracking and achieving those collectively as a group. And if you want to know more about what that entails, go to ineedaccountability.com. Or if you are someone who is further down the path with your wealth building and you're ready to go vertical, you're ready to scale, and you want to know more about our elite one-on-one wealth acceleration coaching packages, which entails working one-on-one directly with myself or Ryan or other wealth advisors in our community, email Matty A at millionairemindcast.com to learn more. Until next time, keep investing in yourself and your wealth on your march to $1 million and beyond. Cheers, my friends.